Hello, dear friends. Welcome back to my YouTube channel, Mukesh English. This is Mukesh Soni. In this video, let's have a discussion of the important questions from the play Purpose, written by the famous playwright T.P. Kailasam. The first section: answer the following questions in a page. What are Bhishma's feelings at the beginning of the play? Bhishma is the grandfather of the princes of Hastinapur. He loves Arjun so much in the myth also and in the play also. Maybe because he can see his childhood in him. In the mythical character, we will never find a minor weakness in this character, but here in this play, we can see that he is now so much tired of from his life. The mythical character of Bhishma never said, "Now I want a long rest of my life." But here we can see him that now he is tired by mind, by body, and also by soul. Now he wants a long rest, that is death. So he wants to see his kingdom in the safe hands. So he pressures Guru Dronacharya to train the princes as early as possible. It is shown in the play that once, when he asked the process of learning of the princes to his Guruji, Dronacharya, Dronacharya replied that steadily and slowly. At that time, he becomes so angry and speaks these lines. Bhishma says, "Slowly, but it must not be slowly. Forgive me, Acharya, but the sooner they are fitted for the purpose which is no more his to me, the sooner shall we both earn the rest that I at least crave for. I am tired, Acharya, tired of body, mind, and soul. I want rest, a long and final rest." Question number 2. How does Bhishma counsel Arjuna? Arjun has a personal ambition to be the most archer of all the time. On this, Bhishma remarks that Arjun must avoid all types of ambitions, especially personal. The man with a personal ambition brings out of himself only such and so much of the powers within him as will serve to achieve his selfish ends, leaving the rest of the powers within himself to lie still, to lie behind, to lie waste. He limits, bounds the work of powers within him, the possibilities of which for the world's good are really boundless, limitless, but a thirst for achievement without any personal ambition, when fully staked, brings out all the powers within one's self into full play and to the full profit of the world, said by Bhishma. He continues, the personally ambitious man, while enriching himself by but a little that will not be his for long, doth really rob the world of much that is world's own by right. One never attains perfection, one becomes perfection itself. If perfection existed as something without you, outside you, you would be right in wanting to run after it, to overtake, to grasp it, to attain it. But perfection is within you, within me, within every one of us living beings. And knowledge, true knowledge, is the means to realize this perfection, to become it, in fact. And the one man, the one man in this whole world who can educate this perfection out of you, lead this perfection out of you into your fully becoming it and to the full profit of the world, quoted by Bhishma. Further, he says, love your Guru, obey him, hang on his lips, follow his lead. True knowledge is too vast and too deep an ocean to fully read and to fully traverse unaided and unguided by a guru. Hence, never forget that. love to one's guru is the sole way to become perfection. This is how Bhishma counsels Arjuna. Next question number 3. Explain the three tenets of karma preached by Drona. First one, karmana swartha. A man whose labor is no more but means to gain his selfish ends. If I had started my bowcraft at the feet of my guru with that aim, I should have never learnt to lift a bow, let alone how shoot a bolt. Second, karma eva atharha. He whose labor is in itself the end and the aim of his labor. Third one, karmana pratha. He whose one aim in his labor is the other might reap the harvest of his toils without the least profit to himself. This is the righteous man. So there are three tenets of karma: karma swartha, karma eva arthaha, karmana prahartaha. Question number 4. How does Drona explain the power of concentration? When Arjuna asked Drona about the invisibility of the tree to his eyes when he was practicing and then he could see both the tree and the target, Drona asked what made him deaf to the loud clash of swords from yonder. He can hear them now. He again asks Arjuna what made him callous to the powerful sun rays that are scorching the very ground we stand upon. Finally, Drona says that it is no less a thing than concentration. Excuse me. Finally, Drona says that it is no less than a thing than concentration, an absolutely necessary element to one's progress. In any study, and the perfect archer, if he is really concentrating, can see nothing but his target, hear nothing but the swish of his shaft, feel nothing but the rub of bowstring on his arm, think nothing but the thoughts of his guru. This is concentration according to Drona Guruji or Dronacharya. Question number 5. Why does Ekalavya want to be the greatest archer in the world? Answer. Since ages, the story of Ekalavya has come to define exemplary discipline, discipleship, but there is an unheard and unseen side of this famous story. Ekalavya was the son of a poor hunter. He wanted to learn archery to save the deer in the forest that were being hunted by the wolves. So he went to Dronacharya, who is a master of advanced military arts, and Eklavya requested Dronacharya to teach him archery. Dronacharya was the teacher of the royal family. In those days, as a rule, a teacher to the members of royal family was not allowed to teach the state art to anybody else. It was forbidden to make anyone as powerful as the princess for the safety of the region. But Eklavya deeply desired to study under Dronacharya. Dronacharya, bound by the state law, could not accept him as his student. So this is how. Question number 6. What are the 5 elements taught by Drona to learn archery? After listening Eklavya's purpose of learning archery, Drona is thoroughly impressed and is even more willing to take on Eklavya than before. However, Arjun remembers something that he can twist to his advantage. Earlier, Dronacharya had promised Arjun that he would make him the greatest archer in the world. Yet still Arjun and Eklavya continue to bicker and fight. Eklavya reminds Arjun that according to the Guru, there are only 5 requirements to become a good archer. So which are those 5 requirements to become a good archer? Number 1, a perfect mastery of the groundwork of archery. Number two, a power to concentrate. Number three, a deep and fervent love for one's guru. Number four, the guru's wholehearted agreement to teach. And the final one, the fifth one, assiduous practice, the hard work, the toiled practice. Question number seven. How did Eklavya learn archery? Drona and Arjuna wander through the forest and talking. Suddenly, they see a wolf running out from a nearby bush, screaming with 30 arrows through its skull. Drona and Arjuna stand spellbound by this insanely awesome feat of archery. But the archer comes running in the pursuit. They recognize him as Eklavya. Ekalavya reveals that his guru is the great Dronacharya. Drona denies this vehemently, saying that he had not trained anyone other than Arjun. Ekalavya beckons them to follow him to a shrine nearby. Upon reaching, they see a life sized clay statue of Drona sitting cross legged on a shrine under the shade of a tree. Eklavya says that he has learnt archery from this statue. Now, the section 2. You need to answer the following questions in 2 to 3 pages. Compare and contrast the chapters of Arjuna and Eklavya, or we can say compare and contrast the purpose of learning archery by Arjuna and Eklavya. What is the purpose that? Why do they want to learn archery? It's very important to know the difference between Ekalavya and Arjun. Their purpose were different. Arjun's purpose was self-centered. He wanted to become the greatest archer of the world, whereas Ekalavya wanted to save others' lives. In the play Purpose, Ekalavya's portrayal has been described well as a modern person than Mahabharata. Being a son of Nishada, he suffers a lot. He belongs to Bhal community. He lives in a forest with his mother. He is the son of Vyatraj. His father was a soldier in the army of the king of Magadha. So Eklavya wants to save the poor animals from cruel animals, and he has desire to learn archery. His purpose is not self-centered but to help others. Arjun was a selfish archer. His purpose was to become the greatest archer of the world. Kailasam, the playwright, has given more significant importance to Eklavya's character and has given him priority. According to Kailasam, Eklavya is considered as an important character than Arjuna because without Eklavya's sacrifice of his thumb, Arjun would not have become the greatest archer, or he could not have been succeed. Eklavya's character is considered important in the purpose. Here, Arjuna has been criticized being a selfish person and self-centered. Now, there's a brief comparison and contrast between Arjuna and Eklavya. The similarity between both the characters is that both want to become the world's best archer, though the aim is same, but the purpose for it is quite different. Arjun has the personal purpose and Eklavya's purpose is to save the animals. So here we can say that the title of this play is appropriate and well chosen by the playwright of this play. Now, next question. Is Dronacharya an ideal teacher? Discuss with examples. Like the other characters, Guru Dronacharya is also different from the mythical character of Dronacharya. In the play, Dronacharya hesitates teaching archery to Eklavya because he belongs to Nishada community and teaches only to those who belong to Aryan community. It shows how partial he was. We can also see him for conditioning the mind of the little princess. It is given in the play that once when Sahadeva was failed to lift up that bow and complained about it to Guruji at that time, Dronacharya speaks the following lines. He says, "Bow too big for you, but my little man, you seem to forget you are Kshatriya. Why? No bow in this world is really too big for a Kshatriya, not only to lift, but to bend, string, and shoot with." So here we can see that how he conditions the minds of the children. This other face of the same coin, when Eklavya comes to him and asks Dronacharya to teach archery, at that time for a while he wants to learn from him because Eklavya is a Nishada boy and he cannot. And other reason was that if Dronacharya teaches him archery, then what about his promise to Bhishma? The mythical character of Dronacharya orders Ekalavya to give his right hand's thumb as his guru's the Guru Dakshina. But in this play purpose, Ekalavya willingly gives his thumb. He willingly gives his thumb, and he cries out because of pain, not because of pain, but because he sacrifices so many animals' lives. At that time, even Guruji, for him, Ekalavya does everything. Dronacharya left him all alone. Next question. What are the five elements mentioned by Ekalavya? Ekalavya reminds Arjuna that according to Guru, there are only five elements to become a good archer. Number one, a perfect mastery of the groundwork of archery. Number two, a power to concentrate. Number three, a deep and fervent love for one's Guru. Number four, the Guru's wholehearted agreement to teach. Number five, an assiduous practice, a very hard work. Now, the fourth question, list out the advices given by Eklavya's mother. Eklavya's mother advises him that pride in one's caste more than in one's power to do good, and it is the surest sign of a weak head. She also criticizes the way Nishida is considered as a low born. His mother always says that contempt for another caste is born only of cowardice. She also mentions that hate is only another name of fear. She mentions that one tells an untruth only when one is afraid of the truth. Question number five. Describe the care and love of Ekalavya towards the fawns. Ekalavya lives in a hut in the center of the great forest. Near his house, there are many fawns, dees. He and his mother he and his mother care for and occasionally feed. However, there are an abundance of wolves in that region of the forest, and they continuously hunt down and eat his fawns. It is for this purpose Eklavya wishes to mastery the skill of archery. Dronacharya is utterly wooed by the boy's selflessness, but Drona doesn't like it. So Eklavya says, "But I must dare anything to save my poor little fawns. Have it. I have it. I shall tell him why I want to become the greatest archer in the world. He has a kind face, and I am sure he loves poor, harmless, and helpless animals. Who does not? The reason of the boy, Partha, whatever it is, cannot be noble than mine. I shall speak to him." Question number six. Describe the situation in which Eklavya cuts his thumb. When Drona and Arjuna wander through the forest and talking, suddenly they see a wolf run out of the nearby bush, screaming at least 30 arrows through its skull. Drona and Arjuna stand spellbound by this insanely awesome feat of archery. As the archer comes running in pursuit, they recognize him as Eklavya. Arjun calls Drona as a liar, and Eklavya gets angry. This repeats itself several times, and eventually they start This repeats itself several times and eventually they start talking things out. Eklavya reveals that his guru is the great Drona. Drona denies this vehemently, saying that he had not trained any other man Arjuna other than Arjuna. Eklavya beckons them to follow him to his shrine nearby. Upon reaching, they see a life-size clay statue of Drona sitting cross-legged on a shrine under the shade of a tree. Eklavya says that he has learned archery from this statue. Arjun is unable to understand this and takes out his anger on Drona. Drona helplessly responds that he too had no idea of these happenings, but Arjun won't quit. He mocks Drona, telling him that the world will know him as a liar who did not abide by his promise to the king. Eklavya is crestfallen. He cannot believe that his training may be the downfall of the great Dronacharya. Dronacharya is equally perplexed as to how his pupil Eklavya could have learned more than he himself knows. To this, Eklavya says, a pupil can learn more from his guru than what the guru himself knows. If the purpose of the pupil for learning is nobler, then what the purpose of the guru's was when he learnt from his guru. Eklavya is overwhelmed with guilt. He feels terrible about the fact that he was the cause of all this. He was the cause of the insult of his guru Dronacharya. He offers to never draw his bow again, but Arjun is not satisfied. Arjun continues to enrage Eklavya by provoking him and insulting Drona. Finally, Eklavya, caught up in a fit of rage, he walks over to the image of Drona, cuts his right thumb as blood gushes from the severed finger. Drona is aghast and deeply shocked. He had never expected this, much less wanted it. Eklavya tells him that this is his Guru Dakshina, as Arjun looks on shocked. As Eklavya's rage dies down, he is suddenly overcome with a sense of grief. He remembers his fawns, the purpose of his entire endeavor. He had just destroyed his purpose. Covered in blood and tears, Eklavya weeps, surrounded by his fawns. So, dear friends, this is how I have tried to answer the questions of the comprehension of this play. I would like to advise you to go through the play thoroughly. These are just the outline of the questions answers. The primary source of the information should be the original text of this play. Thank you so much for watching. Dear friends, thank you so much for watching this video. You can reach me at mukeshenglish@gmail.com. Please do subscribe the channel, click on the like button for more videos on literature, workbook, pronunciation, grammar, communication skills, presentation skills, interview skills. Stay in tune with Mukesh English. Thank you once again.